That sound is familiar. Hold your chest and reach for your wrist and listen to the pulse. That's the sound of a heartbeat. Breathe. Breathe. They didn't teach us to breathe. They did, however, ask us to be positive.
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 But who knew a word so impactful, so hopeful, so powerful would for a whole year rhyme synonymous with a deadly pandemic?
Tonight we have the story of a Quebec healthcare worker who has tested positive.
The President and First Lady have announced that they have both tested positive.
Uganda has confirmed her
Thousands
first
of
case
them have recently tested
coronavirus.
positive.
We would become new experts, new social media journalists, new WhatsApp analysts, doctors in the making, health consultants we became. Our stethoscopes were our eyes, ears, looking out for symptoms, and while we suspected, we would whisper, she could be positive. A tsunami of patience as the news was dumped like a heavy bag on our shoulders. Human lives had been reduced to mere statistics. We all literally looked at the stats every day, just waiting to read who had it next. All manner of theories. We saw global leaders pointing fingers at each other, and we had people say,
The virus has been manufactured.
They want to reduce the number of poor people on the earth. Don't you see Bill Gates is involved?
This is a military weapon.
This must be a political move to jeopardize elections.
The masks donated by country X have the virus in them.
Trump says hydroxychloroquine works.
The patients are pretending, I think. The media is over-exaggerating.
It's a sickness of the Western world. Africa is safe.
Melinda Gates says Africa will face the biggest and the most devastating effects.
No, it's just a cold. We Africans have grown around that.
While others said garlic, ginger, whiskey, and spirits would increase your immunity, your protection against this deadly virus, the coronavirus. Come to think of it, we were all paranoid, at least for a bit. These were, as we would learn to say, unprecedented times. For much over 6 months, almost every illness seemed to be the deadly coronavirus. I have a headache. Is this corona? I feel feverish. This could be COVID. I'm a little weak today. Oh no, this could be COVID. A little sneeze and everyone would look at you. The phrase bless you when a friend coughed or sneezed had been substituted with that's COVID. That's COVID. Well, what really happened is that in less than 2 weeks, our entire world pretty much crumbled to a standstill. We were sent home to lock up, sanitize, social distance, stand here, don't stand there, sit here, don't sit there, all that stuff, while at the same time grappling with the thought of how the next day would be. A meal a day, shelter, light, and conversations with family and friends were all that mattered. Oh, and maybe those birthdays and events shared through Zoom. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Breaking news, Italy struggles to combat tsunami of cases.
For stricter lockdown.
Breaking news, airports shut, a crisis in the few available repatriation flights. Now the virus has reached our airport. Yikes.
A confirmed case had traveled to Dubai on the 17th of March 2020.
More breaking news.
The Premier League, Football League and Women's Super League is suspended.
No more soccer, Formula One, tennis, our favorite games. Folks that used to bet on every game could bet no more. Not even on a friendly game of Ludo. Breaking news, Uganda now has 30 confirmed cases. Yikes. You literally needed a letter from a local leader to visit a hospital. Hopefully it came early enough before you or a mother and her unborn child passed on. Breaking news, trucks, yes, big trucks, ferrying what is said to be necessary cargo, are now the conduit of the virus. Very little hope of flattening the curve. We became fatigued with numbers.
The government has decided to keep the stay-home decision for another 21 days.
For a moment, many would say out of frustration, let the president relax the lockdown. If we die, let us die. We got a new list of jobs, and here's the short version of that list. Motivational speakers, courier services, farming, cleaning up our spaces, fighting on social media, burning food in the kitchen, drinking water, exercising, calling for help, getting angry, watching movies or YouTube, pressing the life and smartness out of our phones, playing cards, crying, showering 3 times a day, sleeping late, being sad, demanding that the government helped, sleeping on hungry tummies, pondering all night, thanking health workers, watching the news, returning home earlier in time for the curfews, being more conscious of time, and just sitting there to wait for the next presidential address. Pretty much the new normal, that was. We bought all manner of masks, surgical masks, chin masks, pocket masks, trusted masks, masks to wear in the taxi, all manner of masks. Masks that would allow us to breathe, masks that were like containers and had to breathe through, masks through which we could eat, designer masks, all manner of masks. I think I'll just take all of them. No, I'm not gonna get into that conversation about all that panic shopping and the amazing grace for toilet paper. Fast forward. The news of an effective vaccine began to spread. Scientists confirmed that a vaccine had been effective. For business, for politics, for travel. It almost felt like the pan of tasty spaghetti and meatballs had begun to heat up again. Okay, let me try again. It almost felt like biting through that warm Rolex made in Uganda. Anyways, replace that with the dish you love. But this is not exactly how we all looked or are looking at it. Still the analysts we were, still the skeptics, still the theorists that the previous year taught us to be. A debate on whether to take it or not. A debate about which vaccine is better. A debate that I don't want to get involved in today. But let's pause for a moment and remember all the lives that were lost. May their souls rest in peace everlasting and eternal. Listen. Around this time last year, I released a piece, Visit Uganda Tomorrow. A clip that received more than 1 million impressions, but possibly needs an updated version. Perhaps one reading, Visit Uganda Now. As I created that short clip in the moment of lockdown, I imagined what it would be like when all this was gone. How our lives would be back to those big smiles and hugs, parties and journeys, but particularly for the travel and tourism industry in Africa, for which I have been very passionate about for many years. I envisioned a revival of hope, especially for the wildlands and the unique life therein. For some of you watching, it was or still is an aspiration to party the night away. Maybe it is to make loads of money when all this is done. Perhaps it is to have as much fun as possible when all this is done. I imagine that for others, they can't seem to find out whether this will even end, or it is just the beginning of what is yet to come, the end of days. But as we come to the end of this clip, and before I lose my voice, still as we remember what was lost and the lives that breathe no more. It would be more meaningful and worthwhile that we love more, that we work harder, that we share more, that we protect, conserve, and care a lot more for the world, especially the natural world that the Creator entrusted us with. The right positive.
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 Positive.